In this video, we're going to talk about how to play Out of the Black by Royal Blood. In this song, you're going to use drop D tuning. So what that means is you're going to have to lower your 6th string down to a D. It's usually supposed to be an E note. So what you have is D, A, D, G, B, and E. So everything up here is the same, standard tuning, but this one is going to be a D note. After you've detuned your guitar, on the intro to this song, what you're going to do is you're going to find the 15th fret on the 6th string, and then you're going to do a very light palm mute on these strings. Very light. If you press down too hard, you're going to get a thumpy noise, but that's way too much for this song. I'm barely even touching those strings with my palm. So you take the palm of your hand, put it very lightly over top of where the strings kind of meet the bridge. And it's just supposed to be kind of a subdued sound. So not quite an open, but not like a real chunky palm mute, real heavy palm mute. So throughout the intro, there's only going to be 2 notes that you do. One of them is a chord here. You play the D and the A notes, so the 6th and the 5th string. And you're going to play the 15th fret of the 6th string alone. So what you have is something like that, right? Next thing you're going to want to take a look at is the timing. If you're counting this out, and you should be, it's going to go something like this. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... So, quicker, it would be... On the next part of the intro, what you have is basically the same thing repeated again, only it's a much louder sound. So you're not going to do that subdued, light palm muting like we just did. What we're going to do is we're just going to play the full on open string chord for both of these when you do it. Also, what you're going to want to do is let that open string chord ring out this time. Before, on the earlier part of the intro, you were doing a rest, so 1E and a, right? I'm just going to stop it real quick. But on the rest of the intro, it's going to be a full-on chord, no rest. So, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... So at the very end of the intro, what's going to happen is there's actually what's going to be a bar of 3/8 in there. So if you aren't familiar with what the time signatures are and stuff, basically it's pretty easy to do if you just think about it this way. At the very end, you're going to go 1E and a 2E, and then go right into the verse. So it's going to be 1E and a 2E, and then I'm on the verse. So then that whole second part of the intro is going to be... So after all of that comes the verse. So what you're going to want to do there is you have just that light palm mute like we had before. So I'm only going to play 1 string. And again, it's very light. Just so it's a little bit of a subdued sound and not that open string sound. It's pretty easy. We just have to play on the 7th fret, the 5th fret, and the 3rd fret. So I do open string, then 7, 5, 3. And I just repeat that 3 times. The last time of the verse is different. So, again, it's going to be 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... It's going to do that 2 more times. So the 4th time through the verse, what you're going to do is start the same way that you did before. You're going to go open, 1E and a 2E and a to 7. Now you're going to change it to 8. Then jump down to 2. So it's going to be 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... So you got to be quick to jump between 8 and 2. I'm kind of doing like kind of a halfway slide there at the end of the last 8th fret note. So 1E and a 2E and a slide, right? So 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... The chorus is going to be back to those open string chords. So you have this. Then you're going to take your first finger on the 6th fret of the 2nd string and your 2nd finger on the 7th fret of the 3rd string. And that's this chord. It's just basically going to imply a D minor chord here. You're only going to play those 2 strings. 1E and rest. It's kind of like a rest click thing. It's like 1E and a click. 1E and a click. You just have to separate that with your pick. When you're playing those open strings, you only want to hit those bottom 3 strings. 1E and then that click where I take my palm, kind of pick it at the same time. 1E and then and just those 2 strings. That means I have to mute this string by leaning my first finger over that first string so that I get a clicking noise. That way when I strum through it, it's not going to make a sound. Right? Then, that's where this comes in. 3rd fret of the 6th string. Basically looks like the shape of a power chord that I'm playing, although it's not a power chord because I'm in a different tuning. But you can think of it that way. I'm just going to go, all of these are just going to be 4 strums each. I go the 3rd fret on the 6th string, then the 5th fret on the 5th string, and then I just lower everything by 1 fret. So that's going to be 2nd fret on the 6th string, and the 4th fret on the 5th string. So that whole section. You'll notice that I'm using alternate picking on this part. Down, up, down, up. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. That is the best way to do it. Doing all downstrokes is a little clumsy. You're using way too much energy with this arm, so that's why you want to do the alternate picking. So all I have to do is just play that part 4 times. And at the ending of that, before you go back into the 2nd verse, there's this, which you've actually done before in the song. It was the last part of the verse. So same thing, 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... Except there's going to be a bend at the end. The bend is going to be when you take your 3rd finger, put it up at the 6th fret of the 4th string. So 1E and a a 2E and a 1E and a 2E and a. So after all of that, you're going to go into the second verse. The second verse is the same as the first verse, except it has a different ending on it. The ending is like this. Okay, so after you go through that whole verse, remember, does this 3 times. The 4th time was. So then, after that, what you're going to do, first finger on the 3rd fret of the 6th string, pinky on the 5th fret of the 5th string, twice, and then use your second finger. Make sure you use your second finger on the 3rd fret of the 4th string. Only because you're going to then take your first finger, it has to be free in order to get this smoothly. You have to put that down on the 2nd fret of the 6th string. 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the 5th string. And then to your pinky on the 5th fret of the 4th string. So if I started on that 4th time, twice, and now you're back into the chorus again. That second chorus is going to be exactly the same as the first chorus. After the second chorus, you go right back into what you played for the intro. So right? Same exact thing. You go through it even with the open string. The only difference is, again, we're going to bring in that riff that we just went over, this thing. Except there's one difference. We're going to jump up here. This is kind of with that subdued sound, so we do the palm mute, very light palm mute. It's basically just walking down half of a D minor scale, right? So you're going to take your 3rd finger, go up to the 7th fret of the 4th string. That's 7, 5. Pinky goes on the 8th fret of the 5th string. 8, 7. So you have. Small difference with that 3rd chorus there. There's going to be a riff. So I'll show you where it's going to be. On the second time through that 3rd chorus, it's just up on the 2nd string. I'm at the 8th fret. I'm going to bend up. It's a whole step bend. It should sound like I'm playing the 10th fret. So I'm going to go bend up, down, pull off. My first finger is on the 6th fret of the 2nd string. So I'm only going to pick that once. Pick it once, bend up, down, pull off. The very last note is the 7th fret of the 3rd string. So it's a very common riff to find in rock guitar. So if you're not familiar with playing that sort of thing, it'd be useful to to really take this opportunity to get that down really well, because it will come back again as you learn other songs. Right away after that 3rd time through the chorus, there's a different riff. Pretty easy. 3rd finger, I'm going to put it on the 8th fret of the 6th string. All of these are actually going to be played on the 6th string. So I go 8, That's the 2nd fret. So 8, 2, open, 3rd. 8, 2, now I'm jumping up to 12, then 10. So that whole thing, I'll play it a little slower. It's then going to mostly repeat that again. You play the 8, 2, 0, 3, 8, 2. The very last part of the song here is going to go like this. You're going to take your 3rd finger, start that on the 5th string at the 5th fret. Again, you're kind of doing this power chord shape, although we're detuned, so it's not a power chord. But the next one's going to be on the 6th string at the 3rd fret. Now, I like to take my pinky for the next note and put it up at the 7th fret on the 6th string. You'll notice that there's only 2 strums per note. I like to play this note at the 7th fret with my pinky. You don't have to. I realize it's kind of a stretch for some people. So when you're in your drop D tuning, this 6th string note at the 7th fret is going to be the same as your open 5th string. So you could play it there if you want to. The only thing that you're going to have to do is mute this open string after you play it so it doesn't ring out into the next note, which is the open string on the 6th string. So you either have that, or... So that's 5th string at the 5th fret to the 6th string at the 3rd fret to the 7th fret to the open string. Or, same thing, only after that 6th string at the 3rd fret, you go open 5th string and then open 6th string. You'll also want to notice that throughout this whole ending section, I'm going to be using alternate picking. So I'm going to be going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. That's going to be the way it is through the whole entire thing. You're going to really get tired if you try to do all downstrokes. It's very awkward. So do the alternate picking. Next, you're going to have the 5th string at the 1st fret, followed by the 6th string at the 3rd fret. Then you're going to jump up here with your 1st finger to the 4th string at the 3rd fret. Then it goes to the 5th string at the 4th fret. So far, let's just go through that much. Next thing is going to be your 3rd finger on the 6th string at the 5th fret. Kind of roll it over so then you can get the 5th string at the 5th fret. So again, that was... And then 3, 3rd fret on the 6th string. Back to the 5th string at the 5th fret. That's 6th string, 2nd fret, and the 5th string, 4th fret. 2 more notes. 5th string on the 5th fret, and open. So again, if you put it all together, repeat that 4 times. There's only one little difference on that 4th time. So on the 4th time through that, the only difference is the very ending is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 instead of that was the last 4 notes of the previous 3 times. This time you just do 4 D notes there on the 5th string at the 5th fret. So that 4th time is going to be like this if I play that straight through. From there on out, everything is going to be very similar to what you've already done. It's just like the last half of that. So you go just like you've done before, and then you do half of that. So you do that twice, and then you're going to go from the 6th string at the 5th fret to the 6th string of the 3rd fret. You'll notice I did that 6 times, so that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Jump all the way up here to the 15th fret. Very last thing, it's very much like the beginning. Except at the very end, the last note is going to be the 12th fret, and then a slide. So to give you an example of that ending, it's going to go like this. Thank you for watching this video tutorial on how to play Out of the Black by Royal Blood. I hope you've enjoyed it, and please like, share, and subscribe, and watch for more video lessons.